Let's Go Sports Bar.
As Kyrie Irving prepares for his third playoff series against the Celtics since departing Boston, this time in the NBA Finals, Irving reflected fondly on his brief time with the franchise and expressed regret about some of his previous actions with the passionate fan base that has been pretty hostile towards him. Take a listen.
That wasn't a great reflection of who I am and how I like to compete on a high level. It wasn't a great reflection on my end towards the next generation on what it means to control your emotions in that type of environment, no matter what people are yelling at you. I'm built for these moments to be able to handle circumstances like that. And I've been able to grow since then. So regardless of, the attention that's being paid to what it's going to be like on my end, I have a group to lead that's going to be looking to me for a voice of peace and to be able to control what I can control and also help them through it.
Really respect Kyrie's introspection and his growth that he talked about. Stephen A., what was your reaction to his comments just there?
Well, I think the word respect is apropos, but the feelings run significantly deeper for me when it comes to Kyrie Irving. I think that right now he's just in a marvelous state from the standpoint that he's really, really showing us, the power of discovering inner peace and really, really capturing that and what it can do for one's life. And I think that's something that we have to pay attention to. And so I just look at him right now, devout Muslim that he is. He's really locked in and zeroed in on finding the better part of himself. And he's a much better man than he ever even anticipated. And I think we're all benefiting from it. It's not an exaggeration to be older than him to admit that I learn a lot from him, from seeing how he's acted. And I'm really, really proud of him. I really, really am. It's special to see.
It really is, and that's what happens with growth, maturation, maturity. He talked about some of the things that he was dealing with. I think he mentioned that there was a death to someone that was very, very close to him. Self is not something that you find. Self is something that you create. And he's created a very good self, a peace, a calm. He understands that there are things, the way he handles certain things, he didn't handle them right. He handled them poorly. And to go through what he's been able to go through, and to see him find a wife and have kids, he's a different Stephen A., he's a different person now than what he was, even in Cleveland, even in Boston, even in Brooklyn. And maybe Brooklyn was the start of this journey that he's constantly on, and we're constantly evolving. We all going through something. We all want to continuously grow. But the young man, and I can say he's a young man because he's the age of my kids, the young man that I see today is an unbelievable thing. It is an unbelievable thing, and I'm so proud that Kyrie has created this for himself.
We got to leave it there, but just to piggyback quick, Shannon, also want to applaud the fact that growth doesn't happen by accident, right? You got to do the work.
Not this regular season, but when we played in the playoffs and everyone saw me flip off the birds and kind of lose my a little bit, that wasn't a great reflection of who I am. I'm built for these moments to be able to handle circumstances like that, and I've been able to grow since then.
It's just fascinating because that is such the right thing to say, because so many people in that circumstance might not, would deflect the question or go in any number of different directions rather than taking it on head on as he just did. Dominique, look, you and I have had a million conversations about Kyrie Irving, and almost none of them have involved how brilliant a basketball player he is, because there's just been so much other stuff. What are you seeing in him and all of this right now?
Kind of put deodorant on that Brooklyn situation. And I think there's some parts of that I don't think anyone is going to forget, and it's fine that they don't forget it. However, the way that he's been playing on the floor, I think has been exceptional. And this, though it is Luka's run, this is Luka's team, this is going to make us kind of change the way we talk about his career, because it felt like the final chapter of his career was going to be kind of a sad, disappointing one. And it seems like he's a different person. I don't know what caused that change, but the change seems genuine and it seems permanent, which it's okay for us to be excited about. It's okay for us to celebrate without necessarily completely forgetting the things that happened in Brooklyn.
What do you think, Monica?
I would agree with that. And I think this is just a reminder that this journey that athletes are on is not just about what they do on their court or field or whatever their profession takes them. Like, they are also growing, as we all are, growing as people. And you have the opportunity to be better, to improve, to make basketball the primary thing again in the case of Kyrie Irving. And I think, again, he's been a part of building a culture in that Dallas Mavericks locker room that is accountable, that is rooting for one another, that is competing at the highest level as they attempt to win a final.
Mind, body, spirit, right? That's important. I love Nick bringing up the winning is the best deodorant line, because that's really what it is. It takes all the stink away. But you also know what was created there in Dallas, giving credit to Mark Cuban, giving credit to Nico Harrison, also to Jason Kidd, because they also are creating like this place for Kyrie to get back to basketball. He has idolized Jason Kidd for years, since he was a kid growing up a Nets fan. And Jason Kidd doing things with the Nets that nobody's ever done, taking them to 2 finals, right? You have that. You have God Shamgod as an assistant coach. You know, Monica, you've talked to him. He has known Kyrie when he was a little kid. His father knew God Shamgod, who was a New York City basketball legend. Him being on that staff, another trustworthy person to have there. And Nico Harrison has known him for many years as well. So when he has that trust base, it does allow him to be comfortable and get back to being the player that I think we all were expecting him to be.
By the way, if you're talking about perhaps immature decisions that he made when he left Cleveland to go to Boston, it's worth reminding everyone when he did that, he was 25 years old. In the context of sports, sometimes we forget just how young a person you are when you're, I mean, certainly to me, 25, I mean, I have children who are practically that age. So my point is, like, you're young and you're making decisions, and it is perfectly reasonable to accept as people grow that they are doing exactly that. By the way, you mentioned earlier this morning, Dominique, that the Mavericks winning the championship would be one of the most unexpected titles in recent memory. We had Hembo look it up, and here it is, and he came up with this almost immediately. The last team that was a longer shot to win the championship than this team would have been, or than this team would have been before this season began, was Golden State. It's so funny in the light of day how that looks now. Right? They began a dynasty. Right. At that point, Steve Kerr was never been a head coach of anything before. Steph Curry was too small to be anything but just a great shooter.
Draymond was undersized.
And all of that, and now all of a sudden, now it looks ridiculous. But in that time, that was a longer shot before the season began than these Mavericks are.
What do you then possibly think about if the Mavericks can manage to get this done? They just added those new guys at the trade deadline. Luka obviously is still a guy that we debate over being the centerpiece, Foxy. Like, there's just, man, this season for the Mavs has been so special. And that trade was huge. Shout out to Legs always.
Neek.
Yeah, that was back when we thought jump shooters couldn't win championships. But I think I have been having a good time on this segment, except I have a hard time not laughing because one of my friends just texted me and he said, I bet you LeBron'd all those books on the bookshelf behind you. And I'm embarrassed because it's true. I think I've read 1 or 2 of them start to finish. All the rest of them, 3 or 4 pages. Then you close them up and put them on your bookshelf and act like you read them things, right? That's what we do.
LeBron as a verb.
LeBron these books.
Oh, no.
Those books. Now I've forgotten what I was going to say. The Mavericks winning this championship.
Oh, sorry.
Is it the end of something or is it the beginning of something? Because this, like the Celtics feel like they've just been born. This team got thrown together. Big trade here, big trade there.
Yeah.
Is this actually the beginning of something?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, unlike the books on Nick's shelf, I don't think this is a very deep one. I think you can get it done with just opening it once and reading 1 page, because you got to consider this might be for Luka his best chance when you consider the West has still Nikola Jokic in Denver.